Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Buffalo SportsCenter video. I'm Don, and today I'm going to create my first mock draft edition for the Buffalo Bills for the 2022 NFL Draft. But before I get to my mock draft picks, make sure to hit that like button and to subscribe. Now, let's get on with the first pick, and today I'm going to go with cornerback Kaiyer Elam, cornerback from the Florida Gators. He is a very lanky, athletic cornerback, high end. And in a year where there's going to be a lot of defensive picks in the first round, Kaiyer is probably going to fall into the Bills' lap, very fortunately enough. He does well in both press man and zone coverage. He's like I said, he's a very lanky guy with a 6'1" in height. And he's also very, very athletic with a 4.39 40-yard dash time. He would be in perfect, and I mean perfect lineup person to put on the other side of the lineup besides Tre'Davious White. Tre'Davious White is a very lanky, athletic, fast ball hawk, and Elam would be another good guy just like that. You'd be getting potentially another Tre'Davious White on the other side of your secondary at a cheap cost as well. Moving on now, we have our round 2 pick. I see the Bills going for a defensive tackle here with DeMarvin Leo, defensive tackle from Texas A&M. He's got excellent strength, elite push and pull techniques as well, and he's also a blue chip talent, which, as you know, with Brandon Beane, he loves guys that fight for the football team, and especially in a place like Buffalo, we value blue chip prospects like Leo a lot. The only problem with him is that he's not a very explosive defensive tackle, and it could take some time for him to really adjust to the speed of the NFL level. But that's why the Bills have gotten a lot of big-time playmakers in the free agency on the defensive line. Let Leo sit behind them, learn a little bit, and, hopefully in like a couple years, he becomes a true killer on that defensive line for the Bills. Moving on, we got the Bills' third pick. At pick 89, it's Daniel Faleo, offensive tackle from Minnesota. And this Australian former rugby player, Faleo, is the biggest player in the draft, lining up at 6'8", 384 pounds. That is humongous. For instance, I'm only 5'4", 145 pounds, so he's almost 200 pounds bigger than me. He moves very well for his size, and he's a very athletic offensive tackle. He would be another project offensive lineman for the Bills, but then again, we said the same thing about Spencer Brown, and look how that turned out. He struggled at times trying to keep guys rushing in through the inside of the defensive line at bay, so that's something that the Bills will need to work on, but I have faith in them. They've been able to develop offensive talent, besides Cody Ford, for the past couple years. Another man I see the Bills going for is Alante Taylor, cornerback from Tennessee. He's another cornerback that would give the Bills more depth in the secondary because with the loss of Levi Wallace, all the Bills really have there with NFL experience is Dane Jackson. And while Taylor wouldn't bring depth, or he would bring depth, but he wouldn't bring experience, he would be very good at learning from Tre'Davious White and sitting behind Elam, our first-round pick, by the way. He is more depth in the secondary for the Bills. He's lining up at 6 foot, even, 193 pounds. He's projected to be a long-term backup cornerback with high-end backup talent as well. And one thing that we see from him in his scouting report is that he has a very high IQ for a cornerback. He knows both man and zone coverage schemes, and we all know that Leslie Frazier likes to use a little bit of both, more so zone coverage though. But with that versatility, Alante Taylor would be a great fit to the Bills secondary. Moving on now, we have our round 5 pick. I see the Bills going for Haskell Garrett, defensive tackle from Ohio State. He lines up at 6'1", 298 pounds. Haskell would be another depth option for the Bills on the defensive line. This pick, I can see it going a couple of ways. Maybe a running back, maybe a defensive tackle. I thought that Haskell was the best guy on the board, and same with Cal, who also helped me make this list. Haskell would be another double-dipper candidate for the Bills. As they've gotten 2 cornerbacks, they'll be getting 2 defensive linemen here as well. The more the merrier, right? He has impressive strength and was able to push the pocket multiple times with Ohio State. He's on the smaller side of the defensive tackles, though, which is why we see him falling to round 5. and he's only considered a pure 3 technique defensive lineman, which I'm not sure that the Bills would necessarily be interested in, but he'd be another fun defensive line project for the Bills and Leslie Frazier. Round 6. Bills got a couple picks here. I'm going to start out with the first one. It's a running back. Yeah, I know that's what Bills fans really want the Bills to go for in the first round. I don't think they will. I think they are happy with Duke Johnson and Devin Singletary. They're going to wait to the later parts of the draft to find another, maybe third option here for the Bills. I go for Tyler Goodson, running back from Iowa. He's a very, very speedy little guy. He's got, that sounds kind of wrong. He's an explosive running back with terrific speed. He's also another good visioned running back, and he has quick feet in tight areas. He's elite with his speed out on the perimeter, and that's something that the Bills don't really have on their roster right now. Devin Singletary, he's very shifty. Duke Johnson, another pass-catching running back. Zach Moss, probably going to be cut during training camp, and he's been a bust with the Bills. So Tyler Goodson and Brigham would add another 3-headed monster towards the Bills' running back room and lay a little pressure off Josh Allen's shoulders. And it's also good, though, that he lacks the strength to be an inside the tackles runner. That's what Duke Johnson is here for. Besides catching the ball out of the backfield, he's also very good at running through the tackles, get your very gritty 2 to 3 yard. Singletary, a very shifty outside the numbers kind of guy, and Tyler Goodson, he's not shifty, he's more speed. So you add a little bit of both with all 3 running backs. Another round 6 pick here for the Bills. I see them going for offensive guard Thayer Munford from Ohio State. He was a 4-year starter there, and it's kind of surprising he's fallen to round 6. But the only problem with him is that he's not a very elite athlete. He's got high IQ. He knows his position well. It's just that he's not too speedy on the offensive lineman, which could be a problem with a much faster NFL game upon us now. He's got strong footwork and has been countless times been able to unbalance opposing defensive linemen. He's a 6'6", another huge monster on the offensive line, and I'm sure the Bills love those freak athletes or freak body guys, and Munford would be another one. While he wouldn't be a great athlete, he's got huge size, which alone should get him drafted by the Bills. Keep on moving now. Final pick in the draft. I see the Bills getting some competition for Matt Hack with Jake Camarda, punter from Georgia. At pick 231, he is one of the top punters in this year's draft. Probably, I would say he's the second ranked punter in this draft. He was very consistent with the Georgia Bulldogs, with each of his averages being within 0.4 yards of each other. His career long, which is a mind-blowing 68-yard punt versus Alabama. So he's got a big leg, very good holding abilities as well. He has excellent hang time on his punts, and as I mentioned, he would be competition for Matt Hack, who Brandon Beane did say he was looking to add another punter before training camp. Well, why not do it for the draft, with the draft, and get another youngster punter? We hit on Tyler Bass, the kicker, in the draft in the later rounds as well. Why not go for your punter in the later rounds? So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching me ramble on for about, what is it now? Jesus, 8 minutes and 40 seconds about a mock draft. This will be the first of many, but I just wanted to get one out there nice and early. So the Bills hit home on a couple positions: defensive lineman, cornerback, offensive line as well. And tell me in the comments, do you guys like these picks? Who do you think the Bills should go for in the draft? Should they go for running back much earlier? You tell me. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and see you on the next video. Peace.